morning. Today is Monday, November 17th. Welcome to Up to the Minute. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dr. Lana Pigao, Communications Director at Northwest College. And my co-host this morning is Dr. Nicholas Cox. He's the History Department Chair. He is also located at Northwest College. Good morning, Nick.
Hey, good morning, Lana. How was your weekend?
It was good. Last night I was watching that PBS special on the American Revolution. Did you get a chance to see it?
I have not seen it. No, I know a few of the talking heads that did some segments on the show from various associations, but I haven't watched it yet.
Well,
Are you enjoying it so far?
I did, and I was really impressed with the historians, I'm sure who you know. Their knowledge is just unbelievable about our American history. It's pretty cool.
Well, I'm looking forward to watching it. I didn't realize it had started airing yet until I started to see all the social media comments today. So,
Well, Nick, go ahead and tell everyone how they can find us.
yeah, sure. We are on Houston City College District's Facebook page and also YouTube. We are on X, LinkedIn, and HCC TV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
And for Mental Health Monday, we're joined by Brooke Fisher, Education and Outreach Advocate for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, Inc. She'll be she'll be sharing insight on the importance of valuing caring for a cause. We'll be with you in about 10 minutes, Brooke. But first, we're taking a deep dive into the portrayal of mental health awareness in the unique world of cinema with Dr. Laronda Ashford. She is counselor with Counseling and Ability Services at the HCC Katy campus. Welcome to the show, Laronda.
Good morning, and thank you.
Well, let's dive right into what inspired the idea to create a film or movie series focused on mental health and substance abuse awareness.
Well, I'm not sure I was a big inspiration, but just doing a different program because we know that students struggle with having information about mental health awareness. And so using film helps students respond to programming differently. And so we just wanted to provide a different program to reach a different group of students because different things just works for different people. So that's one of the main reasons of providing the films.
So why do you think showing films or movies is an effective way to bring attention to these topics with students?
Well, it engages students emotionally and it makes complex issues easier to understand. It helps people makes also complex more relatable to other people, and it actually brings opens the door for communication for different people, and it helps encourage peer engagement and hopefully open the door the conversations that may otherwise be avoided by students and staff and faculty as well.
So how do you hope this initiative will engage students and encourage them to participate in discussions around mental health and their well-being?
Well, first of all, just bringing more awareness, helping connect students who may be experiencing the same mental health issues and concerns. They may have questions. Students are already responding by asking more questions, saying that they want to know and learn more about mental health and how they can keep their mental health well. And so just hopefully just continue to bring more awareness overall to mental health and then debunking the stigma about mental health and at school, at work, in families, and just getting more and more students engaged in the conversation on how to care for their own mental health.
So can you share with us some of the movies that will be showed?
Yeah, so I chose to show A Beautiful Mind is one movie, and the second one was a Netflix series which focused on the opioid epidemic and how drugs can also impact mental health. And the last film will be showed this week, and it is focusing on, it's called I Can Only Imagine. That one is a inspirational faith-based, but it also shows information about mental health and how it is impacted by family violence, child abuse, domestic violence, and also how the drugs can impact relationships and how those relationships impact healthy mental wellness.
Well, let me ask you about films that aren't necessarily about mental health, but you can watch to feel good. Like I love to watch Elf. It just puts me in a good mood. Is that something that folks should think about as well?
Yes, yes, it is. Film can, the storytelling helps students recognize real world warning signs. It helps build empathy. It creates a safe entry into conversations, again, that may otherwise be avoided by individuals within a family or a community group. And so we all know that laughter is good for the soul. And so comedy shows tend to help you relax, and that's all relaxing, and then just kind of getting that being able to separate yourself from the complex and the major issues that are going on in your life.
Yeah, I think that's important. I know sometimes when I'm just trying to unwind, I'll sit down and I'll watch a series on Prime or Netflix, and it just kind of alleviates any stress that I might have.
Yeah.
What role do you see this event playing in reducing stigma associated with mental health and substance use issues?
Well, we know the complex issue, it just requires more than one approach. And so hopefully by showing the films, I mean, they can see how these issues are addressed in other people's lives, which they probably can or may be able to relate to. And hopefully just being able to see different programs allowing different exploration with the issues of mental health, and just so that people can see that there's help available for them regardless of the situation that they're in.
So how will this initiative connect students with counseling services or other support resources that are available on campus?
So hopefully the students will be able to see that the services that we do provide, mental health counseling services for students, help get them connected to our services here, just being more visible to the students here on campus and getting them connected to the services on campus, as well as getting them connected to community resources as well. And so once they know which department is providing those services and how they can connect to our department, then that hopefully will bring more awareness to our services as well as awareness to mental health overall.
So why don't you tell us about some of the services that are available at Counseling and Ability Services? Because I'm really wondering if students know that this is available to them.
Okay, so here at HCC, we have counselors. All of our counselors are licensed mental health professionals. We do have counselors at all of our colleges, not necessarily at every one of our centers, but we do have them. For example, here at the Katy, at Northwest College, we have counselors at Katy, Spring Branch, and A-Leaf Hayes. And then we alternate working with students at the A-Leaf Bissonnette location. So our services include working with students with disabilities, whether they're temporary or permanent, to provide accommodations for their courses. We work with students that are academic at risk, those that are on academic probation and suspension. We work with students in providing basic needs. We help get them connected to community resources. And then we also have our food pantries at most of our campuses as well. And we work with students with mental health concerns, and they can do short-term personal counseling with our department.
So when you say everyone's a licensed counselor, what does that mean?
So a licensed mental health professional, which basically means that we can independently practice mental health counseling services. the licensed, not necessarily licensed professional counselors, because we do have individuals that have that are licensed clinical psychologists, licensed clinical social workers. So our educational backgrounds may be a little different, but we are all licensed to be able to provide counseling services.
Great. So what are some of the key outcomes you hope to achieve for both students and faculty and staff by hosting this film event?
Just being able to build a stronger, more engaged campus community, reaching different students, reaching multiple students in different phases of their life. And again, just making sure that people are aware, student, staff, and faculty are aware that we do have counselors here that are available to provide those counseling services here on campus, and or getting them connected with community resources and partners that we have in the community.
Well, I think this is a great way to get the word out. Thank you, Dr. Laronda Ashford, Counselor of Counseling and Ability Services at the HCC Katy campus. We will have all your info in our post after the show.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. And coming up next, after a commercial break, Nick will talk with Brooke Fisher.
For over 50 years, HCC has been here for you. Affordable, accessible, focused on your success. This is your college, growing, evolving, expanding with you. More bachelor's degrees, stronger workforce training, online learning with global reach. A new name, the same mission, bigger vision. Houston City College, local focus, global reach. Register now at hccs.edu.
Our individual voices are powerful, but not everything has a voice. Let us be a voice to the voiceless. It's time to speak up for nature.
Poison Help is a free 24/7 hotline that answers all of your poison questions in over 100 languages.
Hello? Poison Help?
Hello? When poison happens, we're here for you. Just call Poison Help, 1-800-222-1222.
Well, welcome back. And we are now going to turn to our second Mental Health Monday guest today. That is Brooke Fisher, Education and Outreach Advocate of the Bridge Over Troubled Waters Incorporated. Brooke, welcome back to the show.
Hi, I'm glad to be here. It's good to see you again.
Well, thanks for being here with us today on Mental Health Monday. We have a lot of questions for you. And one of those, though, I'd like you to tell everybody out there what Bridge Over Troubled Waters does. I know when you and Jessica visit, we always update our audience, but sometimes it's the first time someone might have been hearing about your organization.
Yeah, of course. So we are a domestic violence and sexual violence crisis center located in Pasadena, Texas. That's going to be on the southwest or southeast side, sorry, of the greater Houston area. So we are a very comprehensive center. We have a 24-hour hotline. We have a really large campus, by the way, and we have a 24-hour hotline. We have a shelter with 100 beds. We have a housing program. We have a wonderful children's program. It's incredibly robust with mental health services, including support groups for the youth. We also have mental health services for our adult survivors, lots of services for people who live there and people who don't, because shelter residents can access our services, but also community members on a non-residential basis can access them. And then,
sorry. I appreciate that. We'll put more information
oh,
about
I'm
all
sorry.
the services. No. It's great to know that you guys offer such a wide range of support for women and their children in those times. Let me ask you a couple questions. So we're going to talk about your relationship to this caring about a cause movement or theme, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that. Tell me about what caring about a cause means.
So caring about a cause is kind of our way to describe an introduction into activist work or activism. So caring about a cause basically means that you are looking at the sort of dark or depressing aspects of life or society, and you're choosing to view those social problems through a lens of hope. So that means paying attention to things that you might find sad or upsetting and thinking to yourself, what can I do to make this better? What can I do to improve the situation? So that often involves reflecting on your behavior and then the behavior of the people around you and kind of working to change those things, right? So, like in my personal life, for example, I'm very passionate about animal rights. So that's given way to a big lifestyle change. I practice veganism, I do recycling, but then I'm also passionate about anti-violence work, and I fulfill that need to care about that cause through my anti-violence work at the Bridge Over Troubled Waters.
A little ahimsa in action, right? Nonviolence on both sides there. So I appreciate you mentioning this because I hear people at the college often talking about the college, or outside the college talking about the state politics and curriculum management from Austin, talking about they identify problems and they see things that
Mm.
should be different, and then I remind them over and over and over again, well, go and do something about it rather than just point at a problem and talk about it, right? So when people want to shift from identifying problems to being an advocate for change, an activist, as you say, how should people weigh the amount of time and energy they have versus what they can actually get in return for that effort? How do you decide how much to give of yourself to change the world?
So, uh, when you are becoming involved in something that you care about, and you are trying to think about how much time and energy to dedicate, think about how much physical time and sorry, think about time and energy both physically and emotionally. So, you're going to dedicate a lot of time and energy to something that, can be kind of emotionally upsetting or triggering. So think about what capacity you can contribute in. Do you have a bunch of time on your hands and you feel like you have a high amount of resilience, so you can spend a lot of time doing volunteer work? Can you contribute financially, right? Because that's also really needed. Would a lifestyle change make a difference? Maybe the cause that you care about is small scale, and you can make a difference by calling in your friends and family when they say things that are upsetting or problematic. Or maybe you're passionate about advocacy for survivors of violence, so you can actually turn that into a career the way that advocates at the Bridge have.
No, I appreciate that. In our history courses, we often talk about how change is fashioned by movements of people, and it can be something large like the abolition of slavery, or reform movements like women's suffrage, or any of the big reform movements that try to sort of improve or perfect society. And I try to remind students that even if you don't reach your goal or your destination during your lifetime, that having a purpose-led life and having a community of people who share your values that move in that direction with you, those are both beneficial. Those are valuable in their own right, and often it is that collective action that makes social change happen. Um, so, what might a person do that would be, how might engaging in this activism, as we say, enrich somebody's personal, individual growth or overall well-being? How does this affect the individual?
So I mean, it can do so much, right? One of the big things that I think a lot of people get from activist work is hope. So when we look at the news or we identify problems in our society, those issues can loom really large, and they can feel really bigger than life, and just unsolvable. And when we are part of the solution, that can be so helpful because it gives us hope. And we also meet wonderful people. We meet lifelong friends and like-minded individuals working towards something that we also want to work towards. And it can be incredibly healing if you've experienced violence or addiction. I actually have a friend who has gotten sober and stayed sober through his work rescuing dogs and cats that were close to being euthanized. And in the process of doing that, of healing and meeting friends, you build your resume, which is amazing. It's packed with really altruistic volunteer work.
So we have to talk about the other side of this. How does being an advocate or an activist and challenging these sometimes intractable problems, how do people deal with frustration or setbacks or obstacles?
And that is, yeah, that is an important part of it too. So it's really beautiful and you get so much from it. But on the flip side, It can be really difficult. You mentioned earlier that success doesn't always happen, and if it does happen, it happens very slowly. So it's important to be aware of that. And then also, if you really care about people who are experiencing violence or animals that are unhoused, right? Then seeing consistent suffering can take a real toll on you and your mental well-being. So it's really important to do as much self-care as possible, understand your limits, and know when to walk away, and then know what capacity you can help in. So maybe you have a high amount of resilience working in human rights, but working with animals is really hard for you. So maybe do that on an individual or volunteer basis rather than like a career basis.
So one of the things we wanted to give you an opportunity to do is to talk about ways that that individuals can contribute and kind of make meaningful or accessible ways that they can contribute in the community now. What are some kind of calls to action that you would encourage people to consider taking up the charge right now?
Well, I want to emphasize that no form of activism is too big or too small. So if the issue that you've identified is that you have a friend group with kind of problematic attitudes towards women, you can contribute so much by calling in your friends, changing minds, and having an effect on the people around you, the people close to you. But if you want to have maybe a more community or societal impact, one of the best ways to do that is to connect with an organization like the Bridge or maybe the Humane Society or Gulf Coast Wildlife Rescue. Connect with people that are already doing the work because I guarantee it, if you care about something and you've identified a problem, there are a bunch of people that are willing and have probably already started to join you in caring about that cause.
Well, excellent, excellent. I appreciate that. And I'm going to put a plug in for one of my own that is slightly mental health related, but really environmental and conservation minded. Is I spend a lot of time outdoors, and I'm a big supporter of the Audubon Society as they attempt to lease or purchase wetlands and wildlands to preserve nature. And people can benefit so much from just going outside and spending some time outside in nature. And I think the Audubon Society is one of the best ways you can do that in my own personal giving. But Bridge Over Troubled Water could use people out there to help volunteer, to donate, or to send people in need. So Brooke, thanks for taking the time to visit us today and talk about mental health and the Bridge and caring about a cause.
Thank you so much for having me. And also, I love the Audubon Society. So
Well, great. I'm glad to hear that. We'll have more information about you and your organization in our post after the show. And coming up after a quick commercial break, Lana and I will return with some news and announcements.
HCC ha estado para ti, accesible y enfocado en tus éxitos. Más carreras, formación avanzada, aprendizaje global en línea. Nuevo nombre, misma misión, visión más amplia. Houston City College. Regístrate en hcc.edu.
Art is hard.
But not as hard as living in an over-policed community.
Art is hard.
But not as hard as accessing mental health resources.
Art is hard.
But not as hard as being uprooted by gentrification. At Artistic Noise, art creates a community for system-impacted youth to be seen
and heard.
Learn more at artisticnoise.org.
Welcome back to Up to the Minute. It's time for news, events, and announcements. Our first is Savor the Sides giveaway. HEC students are invited to stop by the Northline campus to pick up a Thanksgiving sides box filled with delicious fixings for your holiday meal. Supplies are limited, so get there early. That is Tuesday, tomorrow, November 18th from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Northline campus at 8001 Fulton Street. We'll have more info, so check out our post after the show. And Nick, if people are interested in becoming a welder, this might be of interest.
That's right. Thursday, HCC's Eastside campus is going to be hosting a welding career fair. And I know that this is Vice President Alberto Urbina's pride and joy. So if you are interested in connecting with employers that are looking for welding students for employment opportunities in multiple industries, check our post after the show for more information. But that'll be Thursday, November 20th at 10 a.m. at the HCC Eastside campus's Workforce 2 building.
And if you're looking for something to do or complete a program, Houston City College understands that sometimes life just happens. If you are 25 years of age or older and you left college just short of finishing your workforce certificate or associate degree, we can help you finish what you started, and we are more than happy to help you. And scholarships are available. It's Reconnect Houston. So visit hccs.edu/reconnect. We'll have a link in our post after the show. And believe it or not, Nick, spring registration is open.
Well, you know, it's been open for, I think, a month now. So if you're out there and you haven't enrolled in your spring classes, I got to tell you, seats are filling up. You should start enrolling ASAP. Registration opened early in October. We offer classes in a variety of semesters, different start dates, different sessions, and different modalities. So you can take in-person classes. You can take online anytime asynchronous classes. You can meet virtually online on a schedule, and we have hybrid classes and hybrid labs as well. So please open up the class search and take a look and register for something before they fill up.
And coming up on Tuesday, don't miss a special up-to-the-minute rerun featuring the best guest moments from our morning show, packed with memorable conversations and standout appearances. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Cox. Go and see that PBS special. I'm sure you will totally enjoy it. And we'll see you all next time.
Dear humans, this is an adoption campaign, but it's not for me, or Mr. Buttons, or Frank over there. It's for you, humans. This is a call to humans to adopt our movement, to adopt our cause.
This isn't just about saving one of us.
It's about saving all of us.
Thousands of lives, every single day.
It's about support for every one of us four, and sometimes not four-legged best friends, waiting to meet a best friend of our own. With Best Friends Animal Society leading the charge.
Shelter by shelter, city by city.
We can save thousands of pets each day.
Join us.
Together we can save them all.